What product doesn't work at all, but people keep believing it does and keep buying it? Story 1. Anything that says it cures tinnitus and is insanely expensive. There is no fudge cure. Assholes preying on desperation. Answer. The cure for tinnitus is to get something way worse, and then tinnitus doesn't seem so bad. After 3 years of hearing my own breathing and pulse loud enough that I can't follow what anyone else is saying, and hearing my own voice even louder than that because my eustachian tube burst open. The loud, constant ringing is the least of my worries, and I'm hoping there's a day that's all I have to deal with. Story 2. The foot pads that take toxins out of your body while you sleep. Turns out moisture of any kind turns it black and gross looking. Sure, people still use them. Answer. I was talking to a friend from college once and making fun of my in-laws for believing this. I can't recall her degree, but I think it was a science one, like biology or pre-med. At the time, she was a substances rep for a major pharmaceutical. She looked super annoyed at me for making fun of it because it does actually work. And that's when I realized she's just an overly confident moron. Story 3. Oral phenylephrine, aka Sudafed PE. When real Sudafed, pseudoephedrine, was put behind the counter years ago, manufacturers wanted something that they could sell on the shelves as a decongestant. There was no evidence it worked even back then. They are finally getting around to planning on banning it in the United States. Story 4. All MLMs, ETA. I'm not saying the products themselves are bad. Some of them are actually pretty good, as many of you have pointed out. I'm talking about the MLM business model itself. It's pretty much a well-known fact that 99% of people lose money in MLMs. Story 5. In the UK, it baffles me that people pay $4 for brand name ibuprofen when you can buy generic for 29p. Same substances, same dose, same outcome. Story 6. Prevagen and other iterations of same. Sold for desperate people with an incurable condition. Shameful. Answer. When my grandma first started showing signs of dementia, runs in her family, it was inevitable. He went to Sam's Club and stocked up on Prevagen. Swore up and down it would cure your grandmother. It did not. It did nothing but cause arguments and confusion. He refused to believe it wasn't working and the doctors are lying about her condition. I took a year off to care for them since they were in their 90s. I know he was losing the love of his life as they'd been married 70 or so years, but fudge Prevagen for making him an angry man when he never was before. He lashed out so much because she wasn't getting better by taking that darn pill. Story 7. Detoxes, cleanses, anything like that are bullshit snake oil. Magnetic, copper, whatever bracelets are garbage. Story 8. I have a deep hatred for copper magnetized bracelets that are a one-stop shop to cure dozens of ailments. I take my products to a show that's supposed to be all homemade gear. This rat of a guy has somehow blagged his way in selling nothing but these bracelets and ring versions. He has them listed between 40 GBP regular price, but 50 off the show. Online, they're 5 GBP across the board. He sells hundreds a day. I've seen him flog 5 to a family whose daughter was in a wheelchair claiming it'll help her circulation to get walking again, pensioners who arthritis, insomniacs to get sleep, prevent. Mobile phone radiation, athletes to perform better or faster. Literally, everyone you can think of. People who sell this shoot. If hell exists, they've got a spot waiting for them. Edit. Few people have raised about reporting him and the likes. To be more specific with this show, the show is huge, one of the biggest in the UK. They have dedicated multi-floor buildings built to specific areas. Food, clothing, photography, etc. Then some for specific organizations. Groups of smaller craft workers banded together. Our building is food, photography, jewelry, and woodworking. Crazy combo, No. While our building is classed as strictly homemade, he blagged his way into that specific building. But they do allow retailers into other areas of the site. As for reporting it to the organizers, there's no need. Building-specific organizers come around daily for the week. It's on and check in on every stall for feedback, complaints, etc. They are well aware he's there. Also money. Our building costs more to be in there because it's a better spot. So he likely gets in because he's willing to pay more to be there than the cheaper building where he should be. Lastly, outing him to the people. Traders are vicious, and all of us being independent is just not worth the risk of retaliation. It sucks, but I can't risk our livelihoods for the sake of beef for a week-long event. Story 9. According to my kid's pediatrician, most cold meds. They offer little help and have a lot of extra stuff in it that doesn't benefit you. He recommended ibuprofen for a fever reducer, Zyrtec for the congestion, and a humidifier for a cough. Honey if their throat is sore scratchy. Answer. I seem to remember a Consumer Reports article a long time ago that compared cold remedies. I think it has the same thing you mentioned, but had one addition, Afrin, which one for treating all the symptoms. Stuffy nose, use Afrin. Runny nose, Afrin again. Sinus congestion, you guessed it, Afrin. Nighttime cough, it's likely nasal drip. Use Afrin. You can't use it for long, but that stuff works. I don't think I've used anything else for colds in the last few decades. Story 10. Flushable wipes. Wet wipes need to hold up while wet. The only tool your pipes have to move things along is wetness. I worked for the purchasing department of a hospital. After having our pipes clogged, we hunted around for a vendor that sold flushable wipes. Eventually, we found one that promised theirs were flushable. It even said so on the box. Spoiler, they weren't. Our pipes clogged again, and the vendor dodged all our phone calls. Story 11. Literally anything V-Shred and Dr. Drew talk about. Most people clown on him now, but he hasn't vanished into obscurity yet, so clearly someone is giving him money. Story 12. If it says military grade, those are the products you might want to stay away from. Anything built by the lowest bidder isn't what you really want. Story 13. French bulldogs. They're a broken breed. Can't breathe properly, dodgy legs knee ships, need assistance mating, and females often need C-sections, and yet people are spending thousands on them. A guy I used to work with was telling me how he and his partner were buying one for $10K. I nearly fell over with shock. Story 14. LifeLock Identity Protection. Fun idea until the CEO put his SSN on billboards and dared hackers to break through LifeLock to use it. He got hacked. A bunch of times. Story 15. People who buy ketones for the keto diet. Ketones doesn't make you go into ketosis. Ketosis make ketones, but not the other way around. You're just making expensive pee. Ketones can be helpful if you're in ketosis and need some extra help for long bike rides and runs, but regular people don't need it. Source: PhD candidate in health exercise science. Story 16. Anything that says negative ion. At best, they're a scam. They do not produce negative ions. Some are plugged in and can actually produce charged particles, which do not have the benefits they claim to. At worst, there were several companies shut down a few years ago for selling products laced with radioactive dust. They were dangerously hot all on their own, but they shed this dust all over the place. It was a major cancer hazard. They're a scam and cancer. Answer: Found one on a laborer when our radiation detectors went crazy at work. Did the gamma analysis, and yes, those cards are doped with significant amounts of man-made isotopes, the kinds we would have been sued for if we had let it loose to the public. Guy was decontaminated, the card was confiscated, NRC was notified. It took me about 3 minutes on the Google machine to find it available for purchase. Story 17. Motor oil additives like Duralube or Slick 50. I don't know why they keep stocking that stuff. Any oil from any decent brand has all the additives you need or want. Story 18. Prevagen. If I'm not mistaken, all the double-blind independent studies show nothing beyond placebo. And it's expensive. Story 19. Summer's Eve or any other scented feminine wash. You're just throwing off your pH and you're most definitely not going to smell like beach breeze or lavender fields. Story 20. Not really buying, but buying into any diet lifestyle product based on body type, ectomorph, mesomorph, endomorph, etc. At best, it's a vague description of the current state of your body, but it's absolutely irrelevant in planning diet exercise. A lot of shoot online coaches will ask you to fill in a questionnaire to learn your body type, as if that information is going to be of any use whatsoever. It's marketing bullshit to get buy-in from the prospective consumer. Story 21. Those color beads for making your clothes smell good in the dryer? They actually add wax to your clothes, and your clothes degrade faster over time. Story 22. Homeopathy dilution of 30C. This would require giving 2 billion doses per second to 6 billion people for 4 billion years to deliver a single molecule of the original material to any patient. Source: Wikipedia, editaddendum. Oxalocosinum is diluted at 200C. Oscillococcinum is generally considered harmless. When Boiron, the company that makes oscillococcinum, spokeswoman Gina Casey was asked if a product made from the heart and liver of a duck was safe, she replied, "Of course it is safe. There's nothing in it." Source Wiki FYI, it's made out of duck. Some say it's a quack remedy. Story 23. Those ridiculously expensive memory supplements like Prevagen. Of course, I say this as someone who just bought very expensive hair vitamins. Story 24. Airborne is an American brand of dietary supplement containing herbal extracts, amino acids, antioxidants, electrolytes, vitamins, and other ingredients originally marketed as preventing the common cold and improving immune function. The benefits of its use are unsupported by robust clinical research. There are no studies supporting Airborne's effectiveness that meet scientific standards. The former owners were fined by the Federal Trade Commission for deceptive advertising and were the subject of successful class actions. Story 25. Head on. Apply directly to the forehead. Head on. Apply directly to the forehead. Head on. Apply directly to the forehead. IYKYK. Story 26. Cold FX is no better than a placebo. Same goes for oscillococcinum. In this case, it's because of the idea that diluting something to the point that no molecule of the original substance remains in the solution somehow increases its potency. See homeopathic dilutions. In a lawsuit regarding vitamin water, Coca-Cola's lawyers said no consumer could reasonably be misled into thinking vitamin water was a healthy beverage. Story 27. People use landscape fabric as a plant substance barrier. All this does is provide the roots a shield from being weeded out. You want a yard where you strip out all life and cover it with a layer of plastic and rocks? Guess what? I will tell you all the reasons not to do this, and if you still insist, I'm going to pass on quoting your yard. Find a landscaper that doesn't know what they're doing and are willing to take your money. Why do you even have a yard if you're going to waste it? In 5 to 10 years, when your yard is riddled with weeds, no one in their right mind is going to want to plant. Substance out a garden covered in fabric. I wish I could make landscape fabric illegal to use as a plant substance barrier. Story 28. Fabric softener. Stop buying these crap. It has oil carrier that clogs your fabric and eventually ruin your washer and dryer. Speaking of dryers, also skip dryer sheets. Use wool balls or simply not use anything. If your fabric seems not soft enough or smelly, detergent you're using is also the culprit. I'm a huge fan of sport wash that's hypoallergenic and absolutely dye and fragrance-free. And don't trust most commercial dye-free detergents either. And check the MSDS sheet, as you'll likely see optical brighteners that also contribute to fabric getting soaked with these chemicals. If the detergents is actually doing its job, you don't need any fragrance, optical brighteners, boosters, and fabric softeners. Story 29. Health insurance. You have to pay a lot for it, then pay for the medical bills. Then, if you need something done, some non-medical person will decide if it's needed or not and can refuse your treatments. But we keep paying monthly for it. Story 30. Colonics, aka literally enemas. If you're constipated and you go to an actual medical professional, trained and licensed to provide an enema like that, then yeah, it definitely works. But if you're perfectly healthy colon-wise, you're just fudge up your microbiome and opening your colon up for worse problems when you didn't have a problem to begin with. Story 31. Don't know the international brand names, but it's yogurt drinks in tiny bottles that claim to improve your gut bacteria. In Germany, it's mostly Actimel and Yakult. They have no advantages compared to normal yogurts, but cost way more and are sugary as hell. That is why their health claims were forbidden, and they found a way out by adding one vitamin completely unrelated to the bacteria. Story 32. Essential oils for everything. Headache, sniff lavender. Depression, rub mint on your wrists. Taxes, just wave eucalyptus at the IRS. Insane how deep people fall for this stuff. Story 33. Crystals as a treatment for various illnesses or mental states. I get that everyone has their beliefs and such, but you genuinely believe a stone is going to treat or even cure your depression, arthritis, or even cancer. It's not. Story 34. Wi-Fi shields or amulets or bracelets. It's not even remotely effective, and you can't be sensitive to only one narrow band of radiation and not all others. You don't see these folks complaining about the radio waves passing through them right now. Sunshine doesn't render them paralyzed. Story 35. Essential oils. My 48-hour bout of insomnia isn't getting fixed by a spritz of lavender oil on my pillow. Story 36. Any suction cup shower caddy that claims it will actually stay stuck to the shower wall is full of shoot. Story 37. Nearly all supplements. Unless you have a deficiency, all you are doing is creating expensive and sometimes colorful pee. Story 38. Ear candles. They don't do shit. Yet after use, people are convinced that the built-up wax was magically vaporized and sucked out of their ear and is now present in the cone. Story 39. My father pays some quack jerk doctor $600 a month for special herbs that block the COVID vaccine from ruining his body. Story 40. I pay like tens of thousands of dollars per year for a subscription to this organization that's supposed to, keep things stable and protect me from foreign invasion or something. I don't know. I wasn't given a choice whether or not sign up for the service. I don't really feel like I get much from it, but I'll probably just keep paying it though, because it'd be pretty disruptive to my life if I stopped. Story 41. I've been scrolling for a while and I'm shocked I haven't seen this yet, but amber necklaces for teething symptoms in babies. They don't work and they're dangerous. Story 42. Prevagen, pills for your memory. If you think buying store-bought pills will increase your chances for better memory, you're sadly wrong. Story 43. Goop by Gwyneth Paltrow. The only magical potions that exist in the world are substances, and they're not magic, and they're not healthy by any means. Story 44. Alarm clocks with snooze buttons. I hit that thing like it owes me money. Never once woke up on time. Story 45. The pore strips that pull out blackheads. Those little white plugs are the oil within the ducts that is produced normally by sebaceous glands. They will just fill right back up. A blackhead is unlikely to be removed with a little bit of adhesive. Answer: I don't know about blackheads, but they've definitely cleaned out my pores before. I went like years without properly washing that area, and the stuff that was ripped out was like a little shag carpet of black dirt. My nose was much smoother after the fact. I live healthier now, so they have very little effect on me, but just as like a general hygiene product, they have a solid function. Story 46. Ivermectin for COVID. The FDA has determined that currently available clinical trial data do not demonstrate that ivermectin is effective against COVID-19 in humans. Story 47. Adult beverage-based mouthwash. Beyond a quick sense of freshness, they often exacerbate bad breath. Story 48. There are people selling these grounding mats for your bed that supposedly get rid of bad electrical fields or something. They clearly do fudge all, and it's all placebo, but a lot of people seem to buy them and are convinced they work. Story 49. 90 of skincare is a scam, said as someone who loves serums, mists, toners, cleansers, moisturizers, etc. But really, just get a good cleanser, a retinol, and a simple hydrating moisturizer. If you can get niacinamide to deal with dark spots, that's fine too. Story 50. Any and all AI products. And even if you avoid buying them, they are still foisted on you without recourse. Looking at you, Gmail. Story 51. Any femme fresh products to reduce odor or whatever. Female body part are self-cleaning. Clean with only water, no soap of any kind inside. If you think you're smelling funky or different than usual, it's either an infection, what you've eaten, you're not drinking enough water, or your pH is off for a specific reason, i.e., infection, STI, hormone issue like PCOS, dirty, ORR, you're straight up not washing in between folds properly. Edit, BC y'all are dumb. I said no soap of any kind inside. Edit 2 no you can't always remedy endometriosis, etc. But the odor may be because of health problems like that and femi. Washes are not going to help. Don't mess with your pH and vaginal health by shoving soap up there or dousing of any kind. Story 52. Gorilla products are laughable. Glue's tapes are of questionable quality and do not nearly perform as advertised. Story 53. This product is chemical-free. I want to scream from the rooftops. Everything is chemicals. Or it's all natural, so is arsenic, formaldehyde, and many other things that can eliminate you. Even drinking too much water can be deadly. Story 54. Tire slime. As a mechanic who has changed literally hundreds of tires, I have seen it fix a leak exactly 0 times. Story 55. The additional 32 GB storage on Google Play, it's literally just stealing money from the gullible and non-technical people, should be sued. Story 56. Sudafed PE phenylephrine. I believe it was actually discontinued recently because it quite literally does nothing. The FDA knew it was ineffective at treating congestion for years and only recently did something about it. My ex-Mill swore up and down it was the best thing in the world. She refused to buy actual Sudafed, had to be PE. Her congestion would never get better. Story 57. Homeopathic cures. It is the most ridiculous, ludicrous pseudoscience that people would completely laugh at if they didn't just think of homeopathy as natural medicine. It is literally just water. Story 58. Those rings that claim to absorb negative energy and then break when they've absorbed their limit. Best way to sell cheap, brittle rings and have repeat customers. Story 59. Homeopathic medicine. It's complete and total bullshit, like RFK levels of bullshit. It doesn't work. For some of these concoctions, by the time you're done dividing it into whatever it's supposed to be diluted to, you need a globe of water the size of the moon to have more than 2 molecules of the original crap in it. But water has memory. No, it doesn't. Story 60. Company-provided health insurance. You pay into it and still have to pay several thousands of dollars towards medical bills before it kicks in under a lot of policy rules. Story 61. The inventor of the gas can safety spout has a special place in hell. Every version of those things suck, and you end up spilling gas trying to hold the spout open, hold a full can of gas, and hit the usually barely bigger than spout hole. Story 62. Ear candles. I don't think they're as big of a thing as they once were, but people still buy them and think they're filling up with their earwax as they burn. In fact, there's wax all over the candle thing and it just fills itself up as it burns. And you might set yourself on fire too. Story 63. Anti-aging anything. We all age no matter what, and genetics have more to do with how you look rather than expensive lotions. Story 64. Essential oils. The only thing I've read definitively is that some oils increase the chance of stroke and seizures and are generally toxic to consume. Story 65. Any type of collagen supplement specifically to support skin health or make your skin look better. Collagen is a protein, and when it is digested, it gets broken down into amino acids. Think about the protein as a big Lego set. In order to bring it through the intestinal wall, it has to get broken up into all of its component Lego pieces, meaning once it hits your bloodstream, it's just the same as if you ate a hamburger. Yet there's tons of people paying money for collagen supplements for skin health and other crap, but no data to support it. The placebo effect is strong, though. Story 66. Phenylephrine. It's the sinus medicine on the shelves. It doesn't work. It's been proven, so I don't know why they're allowed to sell it. Get the stuff the pharmacist has behind the counter. Story 67. The Hildegard Orgon Accumulator. It's a slab of wood. You put your groceries on it to suck the bad energy out of them from scanning them with red light. It costs like $1.05. Story 68. There are so many already in this thread. Another is those sonic pest repellents. My grandfather had one. After he died, I opened it too to find cockroaches nesting inside. Story 69. Homeopathics. What's worse, some of those homeopathics are being packaged to look like conventional medicine. Story 70. Vicks Vapo Rub. Sure, the menthol in it kind of opens air passages for a minute, but that's about it. Putting it on your feet does not cure a cough. And yes, I know someone who believed the hype enough to try it. It does not cure hemorrhoids. Answer: I have seen someone OD on Vicks. They were feeling poorly, so they put on some Vicks and rested in bed. The next day, they did the same thing. After half a week, they went to hospital and were diagnosed with camphor poisoning. It turned out they had put fresh camphor-based mothballs in the wardrobe a day or two earlier, and then spent the next few days painting their skin with Vicks every couple of hours as they felt progressively worse. Their thought process was, "This Vicks isn't working, I should use more this time," as they slather it on thicker.